Nobody is talking about what's really happening to Solana right now. What we see in green, that's the Solana market cap. What we see in blue, that's the market cap of the altcoins that are not in the top 10. And the two tend to move in the same direction at the same time. But when we look at the ratio of Solana's market cap to the others, we see two interesting things. First of all, Solana tended to outperform most other altcoins over the years. But also, since November of 2024, it tends to bleed. That was the all-time high, and Solana underperformed the altcoins by 36%. Now, why are we looking at relative performance in the first place? It's because crypto is highly correlated, right? When Bitcoin goes up, Ethereum, Solana, and the altcoins go up as well, and vice versa. So what we actually have to look at is how does one asset perform relative to another to make the right decision? Should we be in smaller altcoins? Should we be in Solana? What's actually the best way to deploy capital? Hi, my name is Gerhard. I've been in crypto for the last 8 years. 3 years ago, I hit my first million, and I did this through active trading. What we see over here, that's the monthly outperformance versus buying and holding Bitcoin. Some months I'm losing, other months I'm winning. The dotted line here, that's the 12-month average. That's then how that looks like over time, again measured in Bitcoin. And that's how the portfolio looks like when we add additional contributions to it. The members of this channel asked me to open a copy trading pool. So that's what we did last year. We outperformed Bitcoin. That's the average profit a member has made. And here is how we're doing this year so far. Targeting 40% per annum. And generating this kind of outperformance is actually no magic. There is a system to it. We just have to look at the data. And in this video, I want to share the data, how to time the market for Solana. Now, what we see over here, that's a backtest, a simulation of buying and selling Solana relative to the altcoins. So should we rather be in Solana or in the altcoins? That's what this backtest is trying to figure out. We are looking at two moving averages, and the crossing of those two moving averages then determine if you have a positive signal, a golden cross, or a negative signal, a death cross. We're trying to find out the best duration of those two moving averages, and that's what this graphic here represents. The best result is the 109 versus 127 day simple moving average. So that's somewhere around here. So here's again Solana relative to the altcoins. We see underperformance since November 2024. And whenever we got a golden cross, we go into Solana. Whenever we get a death cross, we get into the altcoins. Again, relatively speaking. How well does this perform? Here is the chart. So in gray, we see the ratio of Solana to the altcoins. In blue, we see how well this outperformed. It's a quite consistent outperformance. And so that's what I believe is the best short-term indicator. We're going to talk about the long-term in a second, but this is first for short-term. So we had our death cross over here on Christmas Day last year. And since then, Solana underperformed the altcoins by 25%. How well does this strategy work? Have a look at this. An alpha of more than 70% per annum. The maximum drawdown duration goes down from almost 3 years to less than 1 year. And the volatility is decreased as well. And that's done just by doing 27 trades. And so based on that metric, it might take a while until Solana recovers. But let's have a look at the longer term. Because there's this saying that past performance is no indication for future performance. But that's usually just as a disclaimer, right? When there was very good performance in the past, this might not continue. But when we actually run the numbers, when we actually try to figure out how does past performance correlate with future performance, we do get something interesting for Solana relative to the alts. We are getting this chart over here. Now on the x-axis, we've got the past performance. Was it positive or was it negative? On the y-axis, we've got the future performance, positive versus negative. So we simply look at two windows, right? We have those two windows and then we roll them and we check how did the past performance correlate with the future performance. Now, how big should those windows be? Should this be 1 week versus another week? Should this be 1 month versus another month? We can also do that analysis. And that's over here. The best time window is 1 year and 15 weeks. And that's what we see here in this chart. So every data point over here is a representation of what happened in the past 1 year, 15 weeks versus the subsequent 1 year and 15 weeks. And this orange line here, that's the regression line across those data points. And this circle here, that's where we are right now. As in, we saw Solana underperform the altcoins, and now it's likely going to outperform in the next 1 year and 15 weeks. By how much? Here is the result. The forward-looking return is 216% over the next 1 year and 15 weeks. So let's get back to our Solana relative to the others market cap chart. This is that data point. So we've got August 2027. This is our return of more than 200%. We are getting back to the upper end of the trading range. Now the question is, how are we getting there? And the model does not make any answer here. We could simply continue to go down and then reach the data point. We could also rally from here and then crash to the data point. There is no prediction about that. It simply just predicts where we are in 1 year and 15 weeks. If I had to make a prediction, I think it's most likely that we're going to go further down and then at some point we recover. Are we going all the way down to the support and then recover? I don't know, but historically we have seen how Solana was highly correlated with Bitcoin in a levered way. As in, when Bitcoin went down, Solana went down even more. When Bitcoin went up, Solana went up even more. And I'm rather bearish on Bitcoin. It looks like Solana is still struggling, and it looks like we still haven't seen the risk on rotation. Maybe Bitcoin is bottoming out to a degree, but then usually what we first see is a rotation into Ethereum, then into Solana, and then into the altcoin. So probably one of those two scenarios is more likely than a direct turnaround and then a decline again. Short term, I'm rather bearish on Solana as our backtest of moving averages has shown, but longer term, it does look still quite healthy. And so that's how we fundamentally outperform the market. We look at market structure. We look at how did something behave in the past, and then we draw conclusions from that for the future. Now, does this always work? Of course, not necessarily. But if you play this game long enough, then statistics tend to win. We don't necessarily know when we bet on a roulette table if we win or lose. But if you play the game for long enough, we can be quite certain that the casino will win. And so it's the same here for crypto trading. We don't necessarily know if our predictions come true. But if statistics are on our side, if we play the game for long enough, we tend to win. At least it worked very well for me in the past. Not every month is a winning month, but over the long term, we are doing pretty good. If it's your first time here, don't forget to subscribe. I publish videos regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you next time here on YouTube, or see you in Premium. Link to Premium pops up here on the screen. This is where I share my own trades. This is also where you can engage in the automatic copy trading if that's for you. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Cheers.